Welcome, everybody. I will call the Tuesday, July 11th, 2023 Energy Awareness Commission meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the commission meetings from May of 2023. We have any discussion or comments or revisions?
I move approval of the minutes of May 9th, 2023.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the May of 2023 Energy Awareness Commission meeting minutes. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is our CIP reports. So item 2.1. Go ahead, Derek, whenever you are ready.
So I hope you all had a little bit of time to review this. There's nothing really that sticks out. Kind of the same format of what I've been trying to use since the beginning of the year, showing the rebates that we offer, how many have we've rebated, along with savings, whether it's kW kilowatts or kWh kilowatt hours or the MCF for gas rebates for savings, along with just a handful of items that I've been working on in my office, and then it kicks it out as income statement, but it's kind of a balance sheet of money that's been year-to-date activity given back to customers or spent, and then the remaining budget of those accounts. Any questions regarding anything on the different lists or statements?
So just to clarify then, we have given out, if you will, $103,217.91 in rebates in the first 6 months. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah,
Well-
either direct rebates, money given back to customers, or money spent education, or newsletters or other mailings like that, so.
And given that we're like a third of the way through, but we're half through the year, is there a concern that we wouldn't spend all of that money? And what happens if we don't spend all that money?
That really varies from year to year. We've had, since I've been in this position, we've had, $5,000 or $6,000 left in everything to over 20,000. So it really varies on what's going on, especially in the industrial portion of the customer base. But, a lot of those are looking at some big projects. So this year, I think we'll go through quite a bit of it. And so the money that's left over goes into a general fund.
And may I keep asking?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Is there an increase in the number of inquiries on rebates as a result of, say, the legislature passing the 100% by 2040?
Not so much with the rebates, no.
Okay.
And not really with anything else that I can think of regarding energy efficiency. Not too much. Nothing out of the ordinary.
You guys have an uptick in the fall, too, for the furnace
Right,
cleans and
yeah,
the
and
furnace
those-
installs.
Right. And like with the natural gas rebates, those are going anything that came from the natural gas department that funds those accounts, that will all be used up. I guarantee you that will all be used up. So that we unfortunately will have to start denying people at some point during the year. But next year, that budget, which you'll see, in months to come, will be like 100 and some percent higher. Because we'll need to put a lot more funds into those because of how much natural gas we sold this prior year. That triggered us to, under state statutes, to offer the program. So I think maybe you remember some months past, I mentioned or I brought something to this commission, and I think the Public Utilities Commission, that we're not since 2006, we've only been required like 3 times actually to offer natural gas programs to customers. So all those other years have been just on voluntarily based by the utility. So this next year we'll be required to offer those programs, requiring us to have a larger budget to meet that state statute's savings goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to approve the CIP and office report.
I will second.
Have a motion in second to approve the CIP and office report. Any other questions or discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2.2 on the agenda then is update on Green Steps cities. Looks like we have achieved step 2 officially.
Yeah, so attached to this, and I apologize, I think I accidentally attached part of this agenda item to the next agenda item. But that was just part of the email which I attached to this agenda item, saying congratulations from Green Steps Cities Coordinator that we achieved step 2. So what I brought along is, as you can hopefully maybe see here, part of the award you get, or the blocks, because it's Green Steps. So
Oh,
they'll eventually form a step. Steps 2,
Yeah, yeah.
and then step 3 we'll have 3. So this smaller one with the 1 block was our step 1. Step 2 is 2 blocks, and we put them together. And once we get step 3, we'll have 3 blocks that will go on to the side of step 2, and you kind of build this piece of art. And that goes along with the program. So that's what it looks like now.
should we be doing any publicity in the paper?
I
kinda
was
elevate
in
our-
the not this upcoming newsletter, because I have some other articles that I'm putting in there. But yeah, we're going to be doing some things in the newsletter, kind of a bigger piece of the summary of everything. So yeah,
How about in the New Ulm Journal?
well, it'd be nice if they asked about it.
They won't. Because I don't know.
Yeah, we can write. I mean, we can submit something.
Because
We could write and ask them to put into it.
I'm guessing that.
Well,
a
they're
press
short
release
staffed.
would
They only
be-
have so many
Yeah,
writers
yeah,
and whatnot. So
Yeah. How many steps are there?
it's 5 steps. I think now. I think there's always been
Oh,
5,
yeah.
but there's.
So we're at
They're
miles.
working. They're working on, once people get to 5 steps, that there's additional things they can do. Is what they've just kind of began doing, or working on. So it's
Eh.
not stagnant for those communities.
I have one other question.
Yep.
Oh, it's kind of a report and a question. The New Ulm KNUJ Farmers Market has submitted now the application for the SNAP EBT at the farmers market, and we'll hear soon about that. Is that I know encouraging the local food system is one of the I want to say list of suggested activities, but will that help us at all getting, and they joined Minnesota Grown, there will be some new advertising. So the goal is to get more people who are on limited incomes to be able to avail themselves of fresh fruits and vegetables at the farmer's market.
There probably is. I mean, we've trying to look for where that is. We have submitted things with like community garden
Yep.
and sustained agriculture. I'm thinking of farmer to home. I can't think I used it. CSA.
CSA, yeah.
CSA and the farmers markets into this already. So I don't remember what star level it was, but it could be something where we can obtain a higher star level, or maybe something within that best practice that I can't find right now. Could be something totally different within that. So yeah, that's worth looking into and investigating.
Well, hopefully at the next meeting, I'll be able to report that we've achieved it and that we're using Market Bucks, which
Oh yeah,
the legislature passed, and we can't use Market Bucks without the EBT, so.
right. Yeah, anything. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing as volunteer commissioners. If you see things like that, you can certainly, investigate that on your own. I can help. And if it's something you want me to present on your behalf, I can do that. Or if it's something you'd like to present, you can certainly do that as well. And I can help you with getting it on the agenda
Okay.
It's however you really feel like, going forward with it.
Well, I'll email you when it's
Yeah.
a thing.
Right. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yep, you bet.
You'll maybe hear me screaming for joy because
Yep.
it's been
I remember
It's
you
taken a while.
mentioning that at a prior meeting some
Yeah.
months back.
It
Yeah.
did get submitted, and there's money available for signage and tokens and so forth that's already been raised
Yep.
and committed. We just need approval.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, I'll move approval of the Green Step Cities Step 2 achievement notification.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the Green Steps City Step 2 achievement notification. Any other questions or discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, then moving on to new business. The first thing we have for new business is item 4.1, talking about Green Steps Cities, Best Practice 2, Action 1. This one's dealing with buildings in lighting, I believe, if I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. I'm not there yet, but I think the next two are buildings and lighting, best practice. So this was action 1 of that best practice 2, and it was to create or participate in a marketing outreach incentive program to promote, achieve residential energy water use reduction and energy efficiency. So a lot of the attachments to the rest of these, most of these next agenda items, including this agenda item, are what I'm going to be submitting to them as kind of proof. And there are bi-monthly newsletters that we do. So they're an 8-page bi-monthly newsletter starting in January, every other month, and also our yearly energy conservation calendar, I think, would fit into this as well. So if you're familiar with the newsletter, that tries to be a wide ranging of topics, try to always focus on some sort of energy efficiency, since it is coming from conservation improvement funds. So it really does need to focus a lot on energy conservation. And we try to also incorporate nonprofit things like the CERT's Right Light Energy Guide, water sense type topics. So that's the main focus of what we're going to be submitting to them, along with just like the blurb I have at the end of the agenda item, talking about our conservation improvement program and how I share that savings and account information with this commission, along with the Public Utilities Commission. So trying to let the the public know that we have those programs. And I think that's kind of should fit good into getting credit for this best practice action item. And it looks like that's what a lot of other utilities have done similar things. Definitely with talking about their conservation improvement programs.
Any other questions or discussion regarding that best practice?
I'll make motion to approve the best practice 2 action 1 for submittal to Green Step Cities.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve best practice 2, action 1 for submittal to Green Step Cities. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda then is staying with Green Step Cities. This is best practice 2, action 5.
Yep, same, as Jordy mentioned, same best practice, and it falls under the buildings and lighting. This action is to provide incentives for energy, water, and sustainability improvements in existing residential, not-for-profit, and commercial building sites. So again, I have attached a utility newsletter that goes to everyone, all our customers, and I focused a lot on mentioning being a WaterSense partner, and that we advertise at different times different WaterSense products or messages that I collect from their website for being a partner. So the utility, if you didn't know, the utility is a WaterSense partner. So we're able to utilize their advertising and promotional products and other, marketing that they offer. And I also mentioned in the past, I know Jordy and Mary Ellen will remember this. We worked with CERTS, which if you're not familiar with CERTS, Clean Energy Resource Teams, we've worked with them on a few projects, but the one that I mentioned that I'm submitting to Green Step Cities Coordinator is the Saving Watson Drops campaign, where we bought low-flow shower heads and low-flow bathroom and kitchen aerators and light bulbs as well, and gave them to like Section 8 housing or low-income housing. So that should work pretty well with getting credit for this best practice.
A couple questions. Were all of the items purchased given away, or do you still have some like in storage? Or
Those that we purchased for that were all given away. I have since then bought similar things. So, something we're doing now is we're giving those away as gifts for people that are entering our newsletter contest.
Or could we have giveaways or some display at the Brown County Free Fair? I don't know if we do have a display there, or if the city does.
No, a few years ago, I think we were looking at, I think when Ricky Hauk was here, he mentioned something about that. But nobody did anything at that point. I don't know what, does it cost anything?
Yeah,
for the
there
vendor?
is, I believe there is a registration
Yeah.
fee. Something I was thinking about too, but I didn't bring it up because it was kind of too late to really plan out, was like National Night Out as well, but
I do
So-
think, energy conservation, I think one thing with the Brown County Fair that was talked about is that it's a county-wide thing, where I think, and it's just my personal opinion, we're utility, we don't get taxes from people, so any money we get are based on the rates that we receive from customers, that if we're giving away items, to try to focus as much as giving those away to our actual customers and
Yeah.
someone from outside of the city limits.
Well, and
So
if
it could still be something where we're not giving away things, but we could have printed material that's educational. I think in that sense, we could serve a greater purpose that way.
Maybe that's something we consider for next year.
Right.
I'm fairly convinced that we could generate the volunteers to staff it.
Sure.
The League of Women Voters members
Sure.
might be interested.
Sure.
For education, and maybe it's
And
like a door prize.
Yeah, I was just gonna
giveaway.
say, maybe it's not just, at like a home show where people are coming just to grab stuff, but it could be people entering in, like we have for Public Power Week. We give away bigger prizes or give away things, but we can verify that they're a customer based on an address and a name,
Yes. Another opportunity, same thing in terms of volunteers, would be the farm and home show. Well, I guess there's the home show, and then there's the farm show. And the same issues, of course, would be a concern that the people there would be well beyond the city of New Ulm, but
You can't control everything,
Right.
Any event you go to in New Ulm's going to be the biggest size city within 56073, and obviously it's county.
yeah.
So a majority of people will be from New Ulm, you'd think, but
So there's value in
Yeah.
educating our customer base, but also there's value in educating others on
right. Yep.
what some of the opportunities are, like the faucet aerators and the shower heads.
Yep.
is there anything else planned for the utilities anniversary stuff they had going on? I know they did the movie already.
Yep, we did our movie in German Park. We are having a vehicle fair in September. We're having a meeting this Thursday regarding the actual date and time. So, we always have stuff like that at our events. And sometimes it's a lot of time and money, and just like at the movie night, no one comes. and shows up to the actual booth. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't have it. That's part of the job, is to have it there. You know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't drink. I mean, you have to do your due diligence and have information available.
Maybe
Right.
the popcorn goes next to the booth or something.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, I would say too, depending on, if you're gonna have stuff there, depending on the date and time, if I'm available, I could also come down and help out too, so. All right, any other questions or discussion related to best practice 2, action 5?
I'll move approval of best practice action 2.5. Am I saying it correctly?
Yep, yeah, that
Okay.
works, yep.
Mhm.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion in second to approve best practice 2, action 5 for submittal to Green Step Cities. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 4.3 then is best practice 20, action 3.
this is under the environmental management best practice, efficient water and wastewater systems, access and improve city drinking water and wastewater systems and related facilities. So it's a couple of attachments are talking about the sump pump inspection that they had, and also the video that the wastewater department put out notifying residents of what's going on and what they're doing. And that's a lot of what this best practice is looking for, is to make sure that there's not, sump pumps going into rivers and things like that. So this summarizes kind of what they did and what they've done since then. And that's what this best practice is kind of looking at. And kind of how we do it, and how, it's not just the public utilities, but the street department has their jet vac that they go and they clean out all the sewers, throughout the whole summer and whatnot. So, and that we video recam, they have the wastewater department X amount of years ago got a truck where they go look for infiltration from groundwater and other things with their, they have a camera that goes through and looks at all the sewer pipes, and they can look for cracks and other infiltration, unnecessary, infiltration that's coming in from somewhere else, going into the sewer system. Which, if it's doing that, and it's unnecessary groundwater that's going through the wastewater and going into the river, it's unnecessary treatment as well, so.
Any other questions or discussion related to that one?
This wasn't in the last newsletter, though, was it? There wasn't anything about sump pumps. By the way, compliments on the last newsletter. Compliments on all of them, but
Oh, thanks.
I really thought it was in 3 different places you were sort of giving good advice on how to reduce your water usage.
Oh,
and
yep.
one of the things I was like, oh, duh, I could be doing that. So,
right. No, it wasn't in the last one. They haven't. That was completed. Gosh, was that completed like 3 years ago? Maybe 4. It's been
That's
a while.
what-
I mean, but they're doing. Yeah, they're. There's always room that. Anytime a newsletter comes up, so, gosh, what can I put? What I need something to put in there. I need to. There's a lot. If you think about, there's a lot that can be talked about, but there's only 8 pages, and we only do it every other month. We could do it every month, but really, it is really expensive between postage and the printing of it and everything. But yeah,
that's right, because it goes separate from our utility bill.
yeah,
When the sump pump, when they did that, I don't think a lot of people realized that when they were putting it, when it wasn't going outside, what the ramifications of that was.
right,
I mean, they just thought it was gone.
right, yeah, yeah. I think that's the thing with especially utilities. Why people, it's not talked about unless something goes wrong, because you don't You don't see it, you know, you have your
Right.
wastewater's underground, your water's underground,
Right.
your gas is underground. A lot of electric is underground too, other than, you know, alleys in certain parts of town, it's overhead, but a lot of it's just hidden
Yeah.
now, so.
I'll make the motion to approve best practice 20, action 3 for submittal to Green Steps Cities.
My second.
We have a motion and second to approve best practice 20, action 3 for submittal to Green Step Cities. Any other questions or discussion? Thank you, Derek, on taking information on them last ones that I sent you and got it
Yeah,
way more
thanks for
organized than what I had. So,
Well, thanks for sending them to me, that helps
you're
a
welcome. All
lot.
right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any other commissioner comments or questions?
This is, I guess this would be a question. So we mentioned the possibility of tabling at the farm show and Brown County Free Fair next year. Would we have the budget for materials?
Yeah, there's the Energy Awareness Commission, there is an account for the Energy Awareness Commission. I guess in the meantime, since we have time, it's starting to be budget season, is to, even though we may be doing it this year, is to find out, if we can, what the cost is, or at least get it close, so that we can budget for that. You know, booths or what have you.
I'll be
Yeah.
happy to find,
Yeah.
because I'm volunteering with another booth and I'll know what the cost is.
Okay.
And I'm a member of the Farm City Hub Club, so I'll ask
Oh, okay.
what those,
Yeah, and
costs are
if
as
you're able
well.
to do that before the next meeting, we can get together in person or over the phone and
okay.
compile that into an agenda item and
I think
Alrighty.
it's a good idea. I'm just concerned about volunteers, because if you've got a booth there, you need to have people. And
Right.
with only us here,
Well,
yeah.
if-
Well, and if it's nothing of super value and you'd think it should be a fairly safe place. If it's flyers and things like that, at least it's something in X amount of span. If no one can be there, it can at least be grabbed.
I know one other group that has done the fair, and they have chosen to only have volunteers during the busier times. So like when they have bigger grandstand events,
Oh,
there's
sure.
very few people motivating. They don't have it staffed. And as from what I've heard, they have not had issues with stuff disappearing, but they don't leave anything of
Right.
like major value out. I think it's mainly just
And
information.
some of the budget,
flyers,
depending
so.
on what's going on with the utilities, some of the budget for something could be coming from non-SIP accounts too. You know, we're doing our lead service line that's gonna be going on, you know, that needs to be finalized by October October of next year, collecting inventory for lead service lines and
yeah.
so there's things that could be combined together to maybe cost share. If
Yes,
depending
if
on
we
the
had-
cost of booths or whatever, so that the CIP money could be spread out a little bit more
And
for
if
other
we had
events.
a thing for people to engage in, like help submitting info for that inventory,
Yeah.
In terms of volunteers, I share that concern. I will be happy to take it to the league.
Yeah,
They will meet the second Saturday of August and see if there is interest and start kind of writing names down, because we do various events and tabling and so
Sure.
forth. And I'll speak with Deb to see.
and I'll see with the city manager. I mean, I don't know why it would be an issue, but just because they're not commissioners or volunteers on a commission
Yes,
just to make sure that's kosher.
everything's kosher.
Yeah,
Yes.
then we don't have we won't have any worries.
Well, maybe before that league meeting, I'll get you these booth costs and you can have checked out whether it's even permissible for
Sure.
non-commission
Right,
volunteers.
right.
I do a lot of booths and still do and have in the past. So I know it can be hard and tedious. Honestly, the farm show would be the easier one because it's shorter. It's during the winter, so
Yeah.
I think it's easier to get volunteers, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. I think it was before, probably Derek, before you were here. We did or home show. I don't know that we've ever done a farm show, but yeah, volunteers was always the biggest.
Yeah.
Because there were several times it was like me and one other person the entire weekend.
Yeah.
So
And I would hope that
So-
we could have about a half a dozen volunteers over the course of the 1.5, 2 days, whatever it would
Yeah.
be, that would be working morning, afternoon, and ideally, there's a couple. But it'd be nice if there were a drawing for maybe the faucet aerators or a shower head or various electrical items, and if it had to be limited to New Ulm proper, I guess we could figure out the logistics, but I'm also thinking as more of the information and implementation on the 100% by 2040 is rolled out, there will be more publicity and I think more opportunity to have conversations, hopefully more interest on the part of the public too.
Right.
any other questions or discussion? Just one thing to note then, if my math is correct, the next meeting would be Tuesday, September 12th. With that said, then I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second.
Motion in second to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody.